What's going on, everybody? Voracious Gaming here, back with another Marvel Crisis Protocol video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing off some of the miniatures that I painted and have acquired that need to be painted. So we're going to start off with the unpainted ones first, so let's get started. So first off, we have Bob, Agent of Hydra, and of course, Deadpool. Now, Deadpool came with like 4 different heads, and Bob came with just a second head, but I thought the chef's hat on him and the heart eyes for Deadpool just fit more with their character. I'm gonna magnetize the heads though, and like all the little different things that you can swap out. I'm gonna magnetize them just so I can switch them out whenever I feel like I want to, I don't know, do something different. That's like the cool kind of part about this hobby, is like it comes with like multiple different heads and stuff. And yeah, so these are the 2 that I've acquired, and they also came with this. Let me move them out of the way here. They also came with this cool like taco truck. So it's a cool like extra piece of terrain. Now, you would think that it would be like chimichangas because Deadpool loves chimichangas, but it's a taco truck for some reason. I don't know. It's pretty cool, and it's a size 3 terrain. Looks pretty good on the board when I've used it as terrain and stuff. So yeah, these were Deadpool, Bob, Agent of Hydra, and the taco truck. So the next ones we have here are Elektra and the Hand Ninjas. Now, as you can see, I did start painting the Hand Ninjas. I barely put like the first coat on this one and that one. But they're still pretty like much unpainted, so I'm showcasing them here. So with Elektra and Shadowland Daredevil, which I've painted, I'll show you in a little bit, they have this thing where if they use it, they have this attack where if they use said attack, the Hand Ninjas come into play. So that's why they are here. And they're pretty weak, but the thing is like if they die, they can just come back at any other point in the game. They're kind of cool, like they can hold objectives and stuff, but yeah, so this is Elektra. She's like on a piece of building there, just like, you know, action posing away. And then the Hand Ninjas are like there in the smoke and stuff. These guys are going to be pretty fun to paint. It's a lot of red, I suppose, which is kind of cool, kind of repetitive, but they'll look cool in the end. Next up, we have Hood and the possessed version of Hood. I'm not too familiar with Hood like in the comics, but he's pretty cool looking, so I got him. So yeah, so this one like looks pretty cool. It's like a little like, I don't know what that is, some type of like fire or like energy source or something. But here's the possessed version of him, which looks pretty cool. He's got like the tongue and stuff and like the ripped up cape. I mean, he has a ripped up cape there too, but I don't know, it just fits more with like the possessed version of him. So the last model that I've yet to paint, he needs to be primed still, but this is Ghost Rider, and he adds on to my Midnight Suns team, which I'll show you right now after I show you Ghost Rider, because I've painted pretty much all of them except him. I also need Iron Fist, and then I'll pretty much have every Midnight Suns. But yeah, so anyway, this is Ghost Rider. So I barely got him. I used him in a game. He's pretty good. He's got a cool like ability where he can have a long movement where he like revs up the motorcycle. Normally he has a medium movement, but that move is pretty clutch sometimes. But yeah, so this one's gonna be fun to paint, and his base is like huge. Like this is like bigger than it's about the size of Dormammu's base. I showed Dormammu off in my last Marvel Crisis Protocol video, and it's about this size. So yeah, he's got a pretty big base. He's gonna be fun to paint. I still gotta prime him up, like I said. But yeah, he was like the second to last one I needed to complete like the Midnight Suns team. So I need Iron Fist now, which I'll get eventually, but yeah, I got Ghost Rider, and there he is. He looks sick right in the motorcycle. So now moving on to the models that I've painted, and this is Shadowland Daredevil. And he has a leadership ability for the Criminal Syndicate. And what I did for him, I didn't paint him in pure black. What I did was I took this deep blue and just darkened it with the matte black. So there's a very, very like bluish tone to his suit. I don't know if that comes across like on camera. I also did like a blue wash over the whole suit to really like make the blue pop more. And then I basically just painted the rest of it red. I just base coated it with this dragon red, and then brought out like the highlights with the pure red to make it brighter. But he was pretty simple to paint. He wasn't hard at all. He took me like a couple hours, I would say. And then I just did, you know, brickwork, and then I did a dark wash over all the base so that way it gets grimy and stuff. But yeah, I don't know if it comes across on camera, like the bluish undertone of his suit. I just didn't want to do it just with like pure matte black, because I feel like that just would have been too boring and too like dull, I guess. But yeah, I think he came out pretty cool. So there's Shadowland Daredevil. Next up, we have Mr. Knight. Now, Mr. Knight isn't an official miniature for this game. I actually had my friend 3D print me this model because Moon Knight, which I have right here, which you've seen before, Moon Knight has this ability where you, at the start of Moon Knight's activation, you can roll one dice, and whatever the result is, something different happens. So I like to assign some of the different results, like, because he has multiple personalities, which is exactly why you can do this. So it's like, oh, he can, I don't know, gain an energy or something because I rolled, I don't know, I forget what the roll is, but like, let's say I gain like an energy or a power or something. I'll switch out Moon Knight and bring in Mr. Knight because he switched personalities or something, you know? I just thought it was like a cool, like, extra thing I could put into the game. And I think he came out pretty cool. I mean, he looks pretty plain. Mr. Knight's just like all white. But what I did was I made his eyes like a very light blue. It's kind of hard to tell. And then like the little like buttons on the suit, and then the crescent moon on his forehead, I did gold. And then for his batons, I did like a kind of like a gunmetal, like for this part, and then I just did the tips gold. And I thought it came out really, really cool. It's really simple, but it looks really, really cool, and the pose he is in is really, really cool. So yeah, so anytime I play Moon Knight and I roll different effects for his like personalities and stuff, if I feel like it, I'll sub out Moon Knight and bring in Mr. Knight, because this model is just really, really, really cool. So yeah, that's Mr. Knight. So next up, we have Doctor Strange and Wong. So you saw these two in my last video. They were unpainted in the previous video, and I said I would show them off when I painted them. So here they are. So Doctor Strange, I know it looks like he's crooked, and he was really, really hard to like glue into the rune here. So what I like to say is he's just like tripping through the portal, like he tripped or something, or he's just mid-flight, like he's flying through it. So it's like mid-flight through the portal. And then Wong was pretty simple. He's just all green, and like the little energy source he's on was pretty simple to do as well. What I liked about Wong was the little gold parts that I did for his suit, like the little like ankle portions and like the buttons on his suit. They're painted gold, and I thought that was really, really neat. So that's Wong. Let me get into Doctor Strange here. So for Doctor Strange, if you would focus, here we go. For Doctor Strange, I basically just painted him blue and highlighted different portions of the suit with the lighter blues and stuff. And then for that little white center, I did a white, and then I did a very, very, very light blue wash on it just to give it kind of some extra color. And then the Eye of Agamotto, I painted gold, if it will focus. I guess it won't, but here you go. So there's gold there, and then there's like tinges of green in there to make it look like it's glowing, and I thought that was really neat. And I'll turn him around so you can see like the back of his cape there. He's flying through the little rune there. So yeah, he is really, really, really overpowered, if I must say so. He's probably one of my strongest models that I have. As far as magic wielders go, obviously, because he's the Sorcerer Supreme, so you would think that he is really powerful, which he is. So yeah, these two are really fun to paint, and yeah, that's Doctor Strange and Wong. And last but certainly not least, probably my favorite model that I have besides Blade and Dormammu is Dr. Voodoo. Now, for Dr. Voodoo, the haze that he sits in is normally purple, but I went with a green just because I felt like it fit more with like the voodoo theme. And then for the skulls, I made the eyes kind of glow greenish, but for him, I gave that little, I think that's the Eye of Agamotto, because I believe in the comics he does get the Eye of Agamotto at one point. So I made that like glowy green, kind of like what I did with Doctor Strange. And then what I did was I saw somebody give him like voodoo face paint on a reference photo that I was using while painting, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. I think I'm going to do that too. So I gave him like voodoo face paint, and I think it came out really, really cool. I'll turn him around here so you can see the back of his cape there. Yeah, I think he came out really, really, really cool. He's pretty good. He can get killed really easily, but he has this thing called the Brother Daniel token, which is the spirit of his dead brother. He basically just gets 2 extra dice when rolling for defense. If you don't have that on you, you're pretty much screwed, because his defense normally without that is pretty awful. So he can get tabled pretty easily, but if you use him correctly, he's pretty good. He adds a lot of good stuff to the Midnight Suns, pairing him with Doctor Strange and Blade and what have you. He's pretty good. But just the model itself is like one of my favorites, like the skulls with the candles around it and everything. He's floating in the green haze. It is just such a cool model. This one was probably my most fun model to paint so far, besides Blade and Dormammu. He's probably my favorite. So yeah, this is Dr. Voodoo. And then lastly, I wanted to show off a new piece of terrain I got besides the Deadpool taco truck, is the Sanctum Sanctorum. I mean, how can you not have Doctor Strange, and how can you have Doctor Strange and not have the Sanctum Sanctorum? That's what I meant to say. But yeah, this is gonna, I don't even know how I'm going to approach painting this. It is gonna take a very, very long time to paint this. I also still haven't painted Dormammu's like Nexus thing that he sits in, like the portal that he comes with. Still haven't painted that, but I had to get the Sanctum Sanctorum, and it looks fantastic when on the game board and stuff. Maneuvering around this, flying up to like the top of the roof, putting objectives up there just makes it just adds something, and I think it looks really, really, really cool. So yeah, just wanted to show that off. So that is pretty much it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this update. I will definitely make another update video when I get more models and when I paint the ones that I showed you that I need to paint. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this Marvel Crisis Protocol update, and I'll see you guys later.